GG's Azura, I'm sorry matey. But it was a fun series for all of us. Alright, our next gamers are ready. BabyMarine versus Cham. I actually wonder how many times these guys have played against each other historically. We have Indy in the mix as well, in case you guys are Polish and you want to watch the Polish broadcast. Indy is always a legend. Does all the hosting for us, makes my life a lot easier on the Friday nights. Let's take a look at the League of scores quickly. Kind of curious. BabyMarine, Cham. Two guys with very different careers, very different stories. They've never played against each other, is that correct? They have never ever played one game? Damn. That is, that's something I actually didn't even know. I was thinking of something just a bit different, and I was like, oh, let's invite Cham. I haven't seen Cham in a while. And then since we already had two Italians, I was just thinking of BabyMarine obviously as the third option. I thought, like, yeah, that's actually a match that we don't see very often. It's also very cool to see an old school player against a newcomer still, even though he's been around for a while, but he's still a youngster. But they've never played against each other. That's pretty wild. Let's see who walks away with 100 buckies tonight. We're going to start off on NA. Second game will be Europe. Third game will be NA. Fourth game Europe. And fifth game, if we get there, will be a coin toss.
Let's get it on. Round one, fight.
Bottom right side of Oceanborn, we are looking at the main base of our Mexican Zerg, a proper veteran of the scene. And remember this guy doing some damage at the offline events in 2016. That's 8 years ago. This is Cham. Top left side, we are looking at the main base of the younger brother of one of the finest league players in the Western world. This is BabyMarine. BabyMarine has tried a couple of the new games as well that came out, but he doesn't seem to be very fond of any of them. It seems that this kid just still wants to play more Starcraft, hoping for a bright and long future of Starcraft, and obviously hoping to improve his results. He's definitely had good results over the years, but has never been like the absolute top of the European scene. A top 32, top 40 player, like that's nice and all, but yeah, these kids want more. They want to break into the top 20, top 16, or maybe even the top 10, but that's really difficult in Europe. We'll see. Maybe this is the year where BabyMarine can make that final jump. It also took Clem a little while, right? Before he went from a top 16 guy to one of the absolute best players in Europe, and now even the world champ that he is. So it is never too late, but this is kind of an important year, I'd say, for BabyMarine. If it doesn't happen in the upcoming 12 months, I don't know if it's ever going to happen, and I think he knows that too. I don't think Rainer and BabyMarine play a lot of games, because there's that brother-sibling rivalry. And Rainer has said in the past that he's always open to help out his younger brother, but he says that his younger brother is very stubborn and he doesn't want his help and he just wants to do it on his own. I think it's like when I lived together with Ben and we both played a lot of StarCraft, with Ben as in Demu. It's like even though we were close in level, it's not like we'd play games against each other a whole lot, because it just gets weird when you play against the guy that you live with. And it can get a little bit, you know, feisty, heated. I think when you have a younger brother, older brother dynamic, it can be the same. I personally would have loved it if BabyMarine would have reached out to his bigger bro a little more often. Apparently, Rainer did tell me that a few weeks ago they played TVP. And Rainer beat him and he started bullying him, and apparently it went so far that his parents stepped in and they didn't like it. They said he has to be nicer to his younger brother. Because apparently BabyMarine was molding a little bit as he tries to snipe the creep tumor. When he loses the Reaper, guys, that is painful. So there are some fun games, but not too much serious practice. I do think leading up to the Esports World Cup, when Rainer had nobody to practice with, he would play some games with the younger brother. Yeah, whether that was in Archon or just him, I don't really know, but they definitely play a few games. For a night like tonight, I don't think that Rainer really spent any time this week. A little unfortunate there for BabyMarine, guys, that he lost the Reaper so early. It's not the end of the world, but this is not the start you're looking for. Best of 5 is long, it's a marathon, and it's not about these early game shenanigans. It's not about the first skirmish, but you want to build some momentum for yourself, especially for BabyMarine. I'd say this is a big series. Cham, he's been here, he's done that, he has made deep runs at offline events. For Cham, this is just a best of 5 where he will look at it and be like, oh, this is fun, and a good shot at winning $100. For BabyMarine, this is a bit more like, I want to get my name out there. I want people to recognize me. I want to show what I'm made out of. Well, I would say slightly more pressure maybe on the side of Brabba in that regard. You're Italian and your wife is Mexican? It's a unique combo, mate. I bet you're gonna have a beautiful baby one day. That sounds like a great combination. Or maybe you already have a few. Soon, hopefully. Alright. Fingers crossed for you, mate. 6 Hellions are out on the map. Only 4 of them are here. The other 2, I think BabyMarine was just playing it safe. Maybe worried that a Cham would go for a random Zergling run by. A lot of the Europeans will often think about the Latin American Zergs as a bit different and crazy. And they'll go for things that don't make sense. Like the Southeast Asian Zergs as well. Think Miyamaika. So far, Cham not really doing anything weird. It's just all out macro. I've played a decent amount of games against Cham myself in my career. Even though I don't really have a playing career, but you know, throughout my Starcraft 2 history, if you want to put it like that. And I always felt that Cham is a man of extremes. The man does some next level corner cutting, and then he's suddenly just so much richer than every other, even high level Zerg that you would normally run into. And I think this game is prime example of that. We're 5.5 minutes in, guys, and Cham has made 4 Zerglings. That means he's got a mega economy. He's up 18 workers at the moment. And he's gonna give the people what they want, and that is some Mutaling Bane play here in ZVT. Always fun. Raynor has looked really good and deadly lately with a Mutaling Bane. And let's see if Cham can replicate some of that. As BabyMarine's benches are here, gets unlucky with the first shot. Somehow the drone hopped into the extractor and it lived. 1 queen very low in HP. Nice save though by Cham. Good scout at least on the Spire. I'd say that should help. As the Hellions are thinking of a little drive-by, Cham set up the bait. He was sending up the Zerglings to the top. After 5 bases. This one is going to get cancelled. Hellions did manage to dive in here towards the end. There are a couple slow Banes in the mix, but not too many. I hope we cancel that hatchery. Oh, we didn't! Guys, Cham did not cancel that hatchery while he was distracted by the Hellions of BabyMarine. So BabyMarine actually gets a kill. It is 6 drones so far and a kill on the hatchery. That's pretty big. Maybe Cham does get punished a tiny bit here in the end for his greed. I'm sorry guys, I was taking a little look at the Hellions, wondering if they would go all the way in, if they would commit. Instead it's the Banshees that rack up a kill on the hatch. First move out is effect. 17 Marines, a tank. Stim is done, combat shield and 1-1 on the way. Very standard stat up here by BabyMarine. The most honest TVC style you're going to find. Cham is going to have a tough time fighting this army though, by the way. He's got 12 banelings, baneling speed is done. Like, it can be enough, but if you take a bad engagement and you're forced to disengage and the tank gets a few more shots off, you're in trouble immediately. BabyMarine stims forward once with time, wants to get the hatch cancelled, second time will get it. And at the bottom side of the map we got the Banshees putting in some damage. So the Miras are out. We can cloak them, we can cloak, BabyMarine cloak. He does cloak and now he's just gonna go for some drones instead. Where is that Overseer? We have one Overseer but I don't see it yet. There it is. So the Banshees fall but 5 workers go down and a lot of damage on the hatch. And obviously the 5th base is properly delayed. Pretty strong start by BabyMarine here, to the best of 5. Losing the Reaper early on, tiny bit unnecessary and unfortunate, but follow-up game plan has been pretty sharp. That's a lot of Marines, oh my. And we only have a single missile turret in the natural, so we're going to be forced to leave a few Marines behind. This is a serious army, guys. Cham is going to need a few more Banes, 11 Banelings. I mean, maybe, but 11 Banes should not be enough. The Drilling Claws is a follow-up as well, as there are a few more tanks right now. One tank is going to very safely siege up in the high ground. Cham is thinking about an all-out counterattack. I think it's a little too early to start base trading, no? I almost feel like it's a little bit too early, but it is a Lynx, Mutas, and maybe a few Banelings later on that go for it. But look at all these Marines. It is so many freaking Marines. There are 17 Banelings on the map right now for Cham. Cham is doing good damage on the other side of the map, but he can't really afford to lose this base. He knows that, so he's going to send in some Lynx, some Banes, still so many Marines remaining. I mean, this is crazy damage. BabyMarine is the third base is in shambles. It's going to be a spicy start here. Maybe BabyMarine can wait until he's got 2-2. Do we have a few Widow Mines chilling at home? No Widow Mines at all. But this army is mega important. BabyMarine's got a bigger army, but a lot of it is stuck right now. He has lost the third. It's kind of all in. Maybe Cham with enough reinforcements. If he buys enough time, he's got 34 banelings at this point. If Cham gets a great cleanup here, this should still be a Cham victory, because he has done great economic damage. First banelings connect a little bit. It's a lot of Lings, Banes, and Mudas coming in from 3 different angles. And look at the minimap. There are so many units of BabyMarine that would love to participate in this fight, but they just don't make it in time. I don't think this army is big and powerful enough. It's obviously right before 2-2 as well. Maybe BabyMarine should have just gone home and tried to at least sync up those forces. If he takes out this base, how is he going to take it out? And Cham at this point, guys, too rich. It was a brilliant call in the end by Cham to just avoid an army of BabyMarine and go for an all-out counter. He lost 1 base, but he has 4 remaining. Meanwhile, BabyMarine loses one of his key 3 bases. 2-2 upgrades are done, though. Perhaps, if the Thor does a great job in soaking up a lot of banelings, there is a tiny shot, but I think there's too much Zerg. The baneling connections are too good, the Muda numbers are overwhelming, and our Mexican Zergy Cham takes a pretty convincing 1-0 lead here in the end. Very greedy in the beginning. Well done. Great counter by Cham. Just gotta give it to him. Very, very great counter by Cham. I was wondering if that was too risky and if those Marines would have done more quickly on the other side of the map. I figured he was always going to kill a lot of SCVs. Did not really think he was going to kill all the SCVs and the orbital and more SCVs. And just like that, it is 1-0. Now that was obviously on the American server, and the next game will be played on the European server. So there's no reason to panic yet for BabyMarine. I'm gonna have to step it up a little bit. That map was Oceanborn. Actually, whenever it's Oceanborn first, I find it very hard to figure out whose map choice that was. Second game is All Cyane. I also find that hard, but then I guess it's BabyMarine who picked Oceanborn and Cham who picked El Cyane. Because I think there are way better options for Terran than El Cyane. In the words of Clem, El Cyane is 50-50. I will let you know that Raynor did not agree with the 50-50 statement, but Clem says that this map is 50-50. So then I assume that it's a Cham map choice. Other options for Cham could maybe be Golden Aura a bit later. I assume that Post Youth got vetoed. Pretty much always gets vetoed. Unless we're watching the WTL, then you guys get to see it all day. What a Cham veto. Maybe Crimson. Potentially Ghost River. It feels like Ghost River is a really bad map for Cham. For a lot of Zergs, don't get me wrong, and a lot of Protoss players too. But I think for Cham in particular, that Ghost River does not scream anything that is normally good for Cham's playstyles. It makes sense to me if that was his veto. Second and last series of the night. I want to lead for this man as $100 are on the line for the winner, 25 buckies for the loser. Let's do it.
Round 2. Fight!
Bottom left side of El Cyane. We are looking at the main base of our Mexican Zergy. Up 1-0. It is Cham. Top right side of El Cyane. Our young Italian terror player. We had an Italian Protoss win. We had an Italian Protoss lose. How will it go for the Italians in the end? This is BabyMarine. Since Sarah is almost done with the military service in, I will promise you guys that I'm gonna do my luck. Or I'm gonna try my luck and do my absolute best and see if Yona is interested in some Friday night video gaming. Once in a blue moon, he's down for it. I have to poke him a couple times about it, but I think since he's actually been gone for a while, and I think he really misses it, all the gaming and a lot of competitions, I think we can get Sarah for a little best of 5. I've tried to make him play max packs in the past, but he wasn't really interested in that. Maybe I can find somebody else that he is interested in. Would it ever be possible to send to GSO? I don't think there will be GSO anymore. But even if there will be, Cero is just not interested in GSO. I think that is his good right. To participate in the GSL, you have to live in Seoul for like 6 weeks. And some people really like that. Like for instance, Rainer obviously really enjoys that. I think Clem would honestly enjoy it too. Cero is just not a big city boy like that. But those young kids that like to have a lot of fun and social times and make it late. Everybody's different. Like if you ask me, if I was in my early 20s and I was good in StarCraft, I would absolutely love it. If you're asking me right now as a 37-year-old man if I want to go to Korea to catch GSL for 6 weeks, I'd probably say no. I'm like, no. It's a little too much, too stressful, too much noise, too many things I would miss from home. Different times. I don't think so next time, but it could always turn around. And that can also be something that looks like GSL and will be different, but we'll see. At this point, we're all just waiting. We are waiting for future announcements of StarCraft 2 and for a proper blueprint and a plan to be laid out for the road to the next Esports World Cup. At this point, it really does feel, and I've said this many times, that the entire competitive pro scene of StarCraft 2 relies on the Esports World Cup. If StarCraft gets selected, we're going to have a whole bunch of events and you guys will have a lot of online entertainment. If StarCraft does not get selected, it's honestly going to be very quiet for a while. And then I think eventually there's going to be a lot of fashion and grassroots events and Fake TV will do stuff and maybe Team Liquid, TSL, Lord knows. But it's really all about the Esports World Cup at the moment. Do you ever go, I wish I casted that after denying an event? No, not really, because I've never really turned down events. I've always just enjoyed going to events, and I can't even think of one that I've really turned down and that I then regret it. Not really a thing. We have Triple Reaper hopping into the main base. The first few Reapers already pretty successful. And look at the follow-up. BabyMarine finding some good damage here early on, guys. 7 drones and a queen. And this obviously just was the 2 Rex Reaper opening, not a 3rd Rex, not a Mega Late Expand. I think this is pretty damn good. And obviously we scouted that super quick lair as well, the 2-based lair. So big start for the young Italian here in game 2. Yeah, War 3 is indeed doing great. Well, great. It's definitely, it still has a scene. It has offline events. It has stuff to look forward to. And I don't want to think of doom scenarios, and I'm very positive that we'll have at least another year of the Esports World Cup. It is not decided yet, but I'm a strong believer. But even if that would somehow not be the case, I think there will always be StarCraft events to look forward to. But it would obviously be a very big blow to the scene. Like pretending that that's not a big deal would be stupid. This would be a massive deal. But I'm feeling pretty good about it, guys. I think our event was a success. I think people love StarCraft. So much interest and love being shown on YouTube as well, and I think it's very useful. So I don't want to put it in percentages, but I feel very good about another year of StarCraft. And maybe they'll say, you know what, StarCraft is so good, it's been so fun, we'll make it 2 years. And I feel that would be massive as this Reaper does randomly die. Because like 1 year I think is great, but it's mostly great for everybody that is mega good at the moment. It'd be so hard for these guys that are like 5'9", 6K, 6'1", to make the jump. Like maybe one of them could qualify, but they can't really win it, right, within a year. That's almost impossible in StarCraft 2. But if they would make a 2-year plan, then I think you really lay out a path for everybody. I don't know. I'm a hopeful man, and I think we're gonna be okay. Seems that age advantage isn't that helpful. I think if you look at some of the traditional sports, you think of F1. Like we often talk about how in StarCraft 2 you need to be really quick, right? Like in the F1 car you need to be pretty quick as well. Alonso is still, I would say, pretty close to the top of his game, and he's in his 40s. I think you can absolutely be an older player and still be mega freaking good in StarCraft and be mega fast. I don't think you really lose any of it. I think the whole people get old is more of a, when esports was smaller and there was less money, it's like, yeah, you'd have a lot of kids that play a lot of games when they're 17, 18, 19, but once you're in your mid-20s, you obviously really need to have something consistent going for yourself. As Cham is really just going for it here. I don't think BabyMarine really expected that. As long as that tank stays safe, I think BabyMarine is okay, but his tank is not going to be safe. And BabyMarine, who had such a strong and promising start to this game and he was in such a good spot, is now actually in a little bit of trouble. We've got one more tank on the high ground. Ay. The Mexican Zerg veteran is finding some really good value here, but is it enough? I still think that Cham needs more than what he's getting so far. This has been a good attack, but with how invested Cham has been, I still think he needs a little bit more. Yeah, Cham says, I'm not done yet. Well, there is going to be a moment where maybe the bio becomes overwhelming. There's no way BabyMarine can ever give up on these eBays, by the way. He absolutely needs to save these eBays. A phenomenal attack here by the Mexican Zerg in a game where so little went his way. Everything got scouted, everything that BabyMarine tried to do worked out pretty well. Now Cham is in very deep and now he's kind of taking the risk of maybe losing all the roaches and the ravages. But he wants those eBays and I think he's going to get one. I don't think he gets both, but I think he's going to get one and he's going to deny armor. Now +1 is going to finish up. This is big for BabyMarine at least. As he's taking a lot of damage. All of these units are obviously stuck in the natural. Pretty bizarre game. Wild play here by Cham to just fully send it so deep. Stuck around forever. Up 18 workers. And killing obviously a lot of depots, add-ons, all of the eBays. But we are just building nothing but roaches and ravages. I don't know. Finish up the original statement before Cham decided to be a YOLO crazy Mexican Zerg and just send it. If I think back of the Warcraft 3 days, I just felt like there was not enough reason for people in their mid-20s or like early 30s to be playing video games 24/7. Like I had tournaments that I could go to and I had a tiny salary of my team and I was very excited over that. But that's because I was young, you know, I was like 17, 18, 19 and then like little things go for a long way. If you're entering your 30s, you're going to need a little more than 3 events a year and a couple $100 a month, right? But I think if esports can just continue to either grow or stabilize and become a bit more consistent and reliable, I think you'll see more and more older gamers be very successful. I mean, I don't know how old Faker is right now, but I think Faker is also kind of old and he's still crushing. I think in Dota we have a couple of older players that are still very good. This is a great counter by BabyMarine as he gets the double drop going, kills 11 drones and actually saves all the units. This is big. Faker is 28, so not very old, but also not that young, right? And I feel that he still won like Worlds and he won EWC. And I don't follow League too often, but as far as I know, he's still an absolute god. And I think you guys will see this in some different games as well. I'm not telling you guys that the future best deadlock player in the world is 37, but I'm telling you guys that there is a chance. BabyMarine is keeping Cham busy with a couple of drops as he has a bigger Marine Marauder army over here on the left side. But Cham's got a good answer for it. Cham does a really good job in splitting up his army. We've got Zergling speed on the way at the same time as Vipers are on the production tab. That is a pretty unique combo, guys. You don't see that too often. Yeah. I mean, tennis, I would say, is even a lot more physically demanding, right? I like Djokovic, but I do think that his best years are behind him right now. It was amazing for him to see him peak one more time this summer. And perhaps next year he can win like 1 Grand Slam, but I don't think we're ever going to see another year where he wins 3 or 4. That's only normal. But I think gaming is a little bit less physically demanding than running from left to right, forward, back on tennis. Like, tennis is incredibly exhausting. Like those pro athletes, they always make it look so easy. And then I play padel for an hour against old ladies and I'm kind of tired. I'm like, man, I do like 1/100th part of the walking and running that they do. And I'm way slower and way worse in everything. It's crazy, I think, how deep those guys have to go for some of those epic matches that last for 3-4 hours straight. Sometimes in ultra hot, shining, blazing sun. 4-base BabyMarine. I think this is kind of what Brabba was hoping for, guys. Just to find any scenario where he'll get good upgrades. 2-2. Get some drilling claws. We get a lot of tanks. We could eventually transition into Ghost. I think BabyMarine's a very good Ghost player. Is Cham paying attention here with his Vipers? Yes, he is. Well, BabyMarine's not quite there yet when it comes to the ultimate Terran setup. He's starting to get pretty big, and he's starting to have some expendable units. Some units that you can throw away without feeling too bad about. As long as they get something done, and even if they don't, it's not the end of the world. But we're not quite there yet, as we're not maxed out yet. We don't have a big bank. We don't have backup command centers. So at this point, this army is still very, very important. Widowmine! Nice retarget there, by the way, guys, by BabyMarine. Or maybe it was a little bit of luck, I don't know. But I want to say it was on purpose. Gets a big shot up at the banelings of Cham. One baneling has a dream. Decent bane. 6 workers is not too shabby. First ghosts are out though. Cham knows it. Cham fires up 5 ultras and ultra speed. As BabyMarine is building a couple of additional factories. Triple sensor tower already. Everybody's favorite, right? BabyMarine knows that I'm watching. It's like, how can I trigger the old man? Make sure he stays awake on a Friday night. Just build a whole bunch of sensor towers. One Widowmine fires at a dead Zergling, so that's one less mine that Cham has to worry about. But there is another one, and that one gets a pretty good shot off. The final one just fires at a single link, so not the best Widowmine connections, but BabyMarine's probably feeling okay about most of it. Doesn't he have an answer though for all these lanes? Nice connections there on the side of Cham. Actually blows up like 4 mines there. It's not too bad at all. Thank you, Mr. Fish, for the prime. Is it still September, by the way, at Twitch, guys? I've missed all the regular September hype. We had a great opening weekend with WTO. I felt like after that I was like, we're free. A little holiday. It's been 9 long months of non-stop Starcraft. Is it all the way to the end of September? That's actually kind of cool. I felt like in the past they sometimes only did like 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. Nice that it's lasting for the entire month. Next week is bonus. Woo! That means a lot of deadlock. A couple snipes are landing on the ultras as 16 SCVs go down. Cham wants the planetary. Cham gets the planetary. BabyMarine wants to punish him, but at least getting the vast majority of these forces. The ghosts are a little bit exposed. I know we all love to complain about ghosts and how strong they are and how broken they are, but it's also a bit of that Clem factor. Clem is just so ridiculously good at StarCraft that he makes everything look so easy, and he kind of makes Terran look omega broken. And it's like, oh, there's nothing you can do. But then you look at every other human being on the planet, and it feels like they're really doing their best to keep their units alive and get them in the right position, but it is just so much harder than what Clem makes it look like. And our Mexican Zergy Cham is playing pretty damn well as he finds another little Zergling run by. A couple of these SCVs still low on HP. These Zerglings got +2 melee. They've got adrenal glands. Our youngster, guys, is honestly taking a bit of a beating here. Cham is showing us that he may be old, but he's still pure gold in ZVP. When it comes up to playing against not necessarily the finest players out there, but very high level players. If he lands an abduct, the Widowmine's not really getting dream connections off. Another abduct is going to land. And BabyMarine is in trouble. The mine shots are okay. There's no protection anymore. It really is. There's no protection for any of these girls. So Cham is going to get on top of them. There's a few more snipes landing. What have we got over here? It's a couple of units that are just derping. They're wondering, should we focus on the attack or should we focus on the defense? As Cham is putting on a little masterclass. Some nice corrosive balls, and that will do it. Cham wins game 2 on the European server. Our Mexican Zergy is showing us that we may not see him a whole lot in these online tourneys or even in stuff like the WTL. But Cham absolutely still got it. Takes the 2-0 lead. As you can see, BabyMarine is taking a little look at the replay. Thank you, Gugus, for the raid. We're going to swap back over to the American server. And BabyMarine's got a very long journey ahead of him now. Turning this one around. Needs to win game 3 on NA. BabyMarine will really be kicking himself for the way that started, because we were just talking a little bit about age and gaming, right? And obviously everything went so well. The 2-Rex Reaper opening was a success. Killed a lot of drones, kept Cham on 2 bases, he scouted the quick lair. It shouldn't have been that bad. But having those Marines not in position with the tank to receive those roaches and ravages immediately allowed the roaches and ravages to take a way better fight than what they were supposed to take. And Cham, who was obviously pretty damn committed with that attack, found what he was looking for. Okay, game 3, by the way, will be Crimson Court. So at least BabyMarine's got that going for himself. Game 1, Oceanborn. I wonder why Brabba likes Oceanborn more than Crimson Court. Maybe he just wants to start off on neutral territory. We've had 2 series going to distance. A 3-2 between Alex and Danny. A 3-2 between Azura and Nidix. Let's hope that our 3rd series can go on for a little while longer. It's going to be tough right now for BabyMarine. It's not impossible, but it's definitely going to be tough. Thank you to Tater Tudor for gifting a sub to Gyros Typebeat. I basically had 1 Gyros in Bulgaria. There was the late night shop, the Euro Gyro or whatever it was called, Gyro Euro. I paid more than €1, but it was awesome. Euroland. It's the first Gyros I had in a long time, but it was pretty damn good.
Round 3.
Gyroland.
Fight!
Nothing like a Starcraft event in a city where not a lot is open. So then you go to a little gyro shop late at night and you see 10 Starcraft nerds on a row sitting on the street eating their little gyro. Bottom left side, guys, of Crimson Court. We are looking at the main base of our Mexican Zergy. He's up 2-0. He's playing solid and he's showing us that he can still get it done in his own unique way. It's Cham. Mine was okay. Wasn't the best I've ever had. Could not quite compare to the Kraffelt kebab, but it was good. For the first one in a long time, it was kind of good. Actually, last home story cup, I had 1 kebab as well. I think we stayed pretty late at the event, went home at 4. Then I came home to my room and I realized I was mega hungry. I looked at Vicky and Vicky's like, I need to sleep. And I was like, babe, I think your man is going for a kebab. And I just walked to the train station and I did get 1 Kraffelt kebab. And it was gold. Top right side of Crimson Court. We are looking at the main base of the young Italian. He's down 0-2. Can we turn things around? It is BabyMarine. A man who I believe is currently still teamless. Obviously was on a team for a while and then the team let him go. He was on the Platinum Heroes for a bit. And I know he was very close to getting a new team lined up. But in the end, it kind of all fell through and was a little sad. All happened behind the scenes, but if as a player you get very close to signing with an org that you're very excited over, and at the absolute last second it doesn't quite happen, I think it definitely hurt his motivation for a bit. But the kid is still trying, he's still doing his best. And I really do hope that we haven't seen the best of BabyMarine yet. Because there's been plenty of series over the years that we've been here, we've been looking and we're like, damn, he looks good. And he has been able to make some very impressive progress from time to time. I hope it doesn't stop here. I hope there is one more shot. He was on Team Roddy for a long time, yeah? Until he went to the Platinum Heroes. I mean, if Fjont or Seb would leave, then I'd definitely be down to bring BabyMarine back, if that is a good thing for him. Now, it is obviously very important that, you know, once the kids get older, I don't want them to think that a couple $100 a month in their early 20s is something they should start celebrating and nothing to worry about, let's play StarCraft. It's like, no. They need to make sure that there is a better and bigger journey ahead of them. And it has a lot to do once more with future announcements, right? If there is stuff to play for, then I think the kids can justify spending that much time if they're getting a bit older on trying to make those final steps in the StarCraft scene. But if StarCraft 2 is going down a Warcraft 3 route, which I don't think is going to happen once more, but if that would happen, then obviously you have to focus on other stuff in life. And that doesn't mean you can't play StarCraft on the side because it's fun, or you can compete in fun, cool events whenever you want to. But you obviously have to make sure that that's not the only thing you have going in life. As BabyMarine hops his Reaper into the main base, maybe a little bit paranoid about the 2-base setup of Cham, and he just wanted to see what was happening behind it. Unfortunately for Breva, he didn't really get to see a whole lot. Is this going to be some sort of a Queen Roach Nidus? Does this scream Nidus to me, guys? No, I don't think Reaper. That's impressive that I actually saw it.
Systems go.
So we do know about the lair. Dropper-lord. What is Cham cooking up over here, guys? He's on 39 drones at the moment. Might just still turn this into some sort of a... I'm very curious. We've got 24 available supply, 2 more overlords, and maybe some queen dropper-lord roach attack. As BabyMarine is controlling the center of the map, does snipe one of the overlords, so that's very nice. There's another one that he could potentially snipe. It would be so big if he could. Thank you to King Marine. The weird queen drop. With roaches and ravages in the front, and then like one queen for a creep tumor here, and then the other queens get dropped in the main to harass. Second overlord that gets sniped. This is actually kind of big. And it seems that BabyMarine has a very good idea of what's happening. Maybe he doesn't know exactly what it is, but he does feel that he is going to be all in here by a 2-base Zergy, as he's building double bunker. It's a great call. I feel that BabyMarine has a pretty good and sexy setup here. But he can't really make too many errors. He knows that needs to save the Cyclones, gets a lock on one of the Ravages, pulls it back immediately. We can start loading up the bunkers. Here comes one of these speedy overlords. Can start dropping a little bit of creep. Are the ladies here as well? There are 2 ladies here. Not all the ladies. Cham is droning up behind this. But doesn't mean that he wants to get nothing done here. Obviously we're gonna at the bare minimum get all these depots, but I think Cham is hoping for more. He's hoping to snipe a bunker and then maybe get on top of a tank. Not to win the game, but just to keep BabyMarine busy for a long time. So he can start finding some value out of the 3rd base in the center of the map. And obviously get a better economy and get more things going his way. BabyMarine wants to kill that overlord, but there's a creep tumor. I don't know if he knows about the creep tumor. I feel like he should have seen that at one point. Few more mules getting dropped. BabyMarine does not seem to be mega terrified, but obviously does not want to make the same mistake as he did on Alcyone, where he technically had more than enough firepower to deal with everything that Cham had, but because he was out of position and units were stuck inside of the medevac. This is kind of cool, by the way, where Cham has just dropped a little bit of creep on different locations, and he's just spamming creep tumors everywhere with those 2 queens that were inside of the dropper lord. So this entire map is going to be covered in creep. This might be one of these very rare scenarios where it'd be better for BabyMarine to get a Raven at one point. Because this is no longer about like a couple scans. Even though, can he get this one too? Oh, he doesn't get, no. Right on the moment that he thought he was going to clean up some creep tumors, the Ravages of Cham went for the tanks. Now BabyMarine did absolutely punish him for it. 2 tanks went down, but 7 Ravages and the Roach went down. Now BabyMarine is going to be forced to scan again. I don't know if we have any scans. We don't have a scan here. Okay, we have one. So 2 tanks die, but 7 Ravages die. And there is still a whole bunch of creep. Very cool playstyle by Cham. A single dropper lord with 2 queens just floating around the map, dropping a couple of creep tumors everywhere. So the overlord drops some creep, allows the ladies to drop the creep tumors. That is also important that we still have an answer for a couple of guys with a gun and a tank. As a single scan goes down, BabyMarine makes his way up this ramp. Obviously this is a mega important base for Cham because the rich Vespian guys are as well. BabyMarine thought about clicking on the hatch for a split second. Decides against it. If there was ever a moment, guys, for the random Raven, this is a moment for the random Raven. Army wise, I think BabyMarine is looking very good. 2 upgrades on the way. Done a good job in slowing Cham down. Cham has lost a lot of units. Other than the 2 tanks, didn't really get a whole lot in return. But Hive Tech on the way. Surprised that Cham can find the resources to fire up a cheeky Hive. As the 16 Marine drop actually finds the two ladies and the drop lord guys that have been so busy floating around the map, dropping creep tumors everywhere. Now BabyMarine knows that his army's out of position and he's going to YOLO these Marines in, and the drones are mega exposed. This is a great little attack here by the young Italian, as he also feels that he can get this hatchery. He's standing his ground, he's holding down that gas button, and he actually gets it. 6 snipe, a very, very important pickoff. And great little run by overall. And it all starts with this double drop. The double drop that finds the queens, pulls a lot of the Zerg units out of position. I know somebody will say, but Cham didn't have to send his entire army. He could have just sent a couple of units. Yes, that is correct. But people make mistakes. Honestly, it feels to me that Breba's playing a pretty picture-perfect game 3 here. And I don't know how this would possibly go wrong, but it's looking really good for the young Italian. His brother has made a couple of legendary comebacks over the years. Most notably, obviously, in the IEM Katowice during the COVID year. The online edition. Eleven Marines unloading once more as there's a big army in the center of the map. That was a kill? That was a kill by the looks of it. The BabyMarine is in the center of the map with 4 tanks, a couple cyclones, and just a silly amount of Marines. We are seconds away from those 2 to upgrade. I don't think he really wants to wait for it, because he probably sizes up that army right now of Cham, and he says, I want a piece of that, because it just doesn't look that impressive. And Pi is going to be like, what do you mean it doesn't look that impressive? He's got so many roaches. We know Pi. He's got 22 of them. Marines are good, especially with upgrades and backed up by a whole bunch of tanks. I don't know how Cham is going to take a good fight. I guess it will all come down to the Vipers. Vipers excellent in abducting tanks, maybe a blinding cloud. Seems that BabyMarine is already thinking about it if you look at how well spaced out these tanks are. Cham is having a fun time coloring the map purple in the top left. That's not going to help him dealing with all these Marines and tanks. Ah, Raynor. Raynor in the chat, guys. Look at that. On the night of the Azzurri, mate. All the Italians video gaming tonight. I may have found a new favorite video gamer from Italy, though. His name is Alex, and he's a gamer. Cham is going to go ahead and try to go up this very tiny ramp. Does land a couple of abducts, to be fair, and a few of the Marines were still stuck inside of the medevac. Cham takes a surprisingly good fight up a very tight ramp. I mean, explain this to your children at home, guys. I don't even know what just happened there. Perhaps the power of the Viper on full display. This really should not have ever gone that well for Cham. But Vipers are great, and a couple of Marines are stuck. Liberator is going to show up as well. Triple Widowmine fires and just a few banes. As BabyMarine was dropping on the left side. Seemed like he got cleaned up there. So I'm not taking the supply lead, but I still think that BabyMarine is in a more than fine spot. As long as we don't forget about +3 attack. I know Björn is an idol to many of us. Our previous world champ of 2016, but let's not go too full Björn here. You think BabyMarine lost it? Nah. I think BabyMarine is still okay. I think he's still okay, but we're gonna have to do a little bit better. This fight was a bit of a boo-boo, and maybe that also just goes back to that creep, right? Maybe because there was still some creep that Cham could look at. Cham was full of confidence. It was indeed a rough fight. I'm not arguing with you guys that it wasn't rough. Didn't really go his way, but I still believe that BabyMarine can turn it into something. It is Crimson Court. We got Widow Mines with Drilling Claws. That's kind of nice. Cham does see a lot, yeah. The map vision of Cham is indeed incredibly good. The reason why, just to give you guys a little bit of fuel, why I'm not too worried yet for BabyMarine is because Cham has been on 70-something drones for the vast majority of this game. He doesn't really have a bank. His army is still pretty mediocre at best. That's why I'm still feeling that BabyMarine is in an okay spot. But obviously the next fights are going to have to go better for Bravo. There's a Widowmine there that fires at a couple of Zerglings. That was not bad. Tank shots were decent. Cham is losing a lot. He really wants to get this planetary. I don't know if he will. Will BabyMarine ever bring over some units? Yes, the planetary fortress lives. And now the Roaches and the Ravages are stuck. And it's a 360 surround. No scope Mountain View. Guy with the gun. Pretty good unit. Roaches get obliterated. All the Ravagers fall. What a save by BabyMarine. It took a long time for these Terran units to show up, but once they did, they couldn't have shown up in a more fashionable way. And this is, guys, why I still kind of like the game for BabyMarine. Now, obviously, I did not know that Cham was going to do that. Promise you guys, these games are live, by the way. Just ask me. Say something mean to Pi and I'll do it. Games are live. BabyMarine takes out the center hatch. Snipes a couple drones in the bottom side as well. Cham does have a Spire finishing up, but I don't know what we're going to do with a Spire when we're done 50 supply. Reverse caster curse. If I say something that is correct, we cannot say that it's a reverse caster curse. That's not how this caster curse thing works. I believe that the caster curse is... So it started off with Artosis making false predictions all the time. And then it came down to people saying something like, this Colossus will just never die. And then it died immediately. Stuff like that. If I say that I like the position for BabyMarine and BabyMarine ends up winning, that is not reverse caster curse. That is just Roddy being smart, beautiful, and correct. And I hate to be the one who says it, but it happens a lot. As Cham sends it with Lings and Banes into the other side of the map, but it is not good enough. GG. BabyMarine does win on Crimson Court. Let's take another look at that Marine Surround, because that honestly was very cool. What a save on that planetary, and what an engagement in the end. It took a little while before our units showed up. Like, our units were literally everywhere. Cham just looks at this and he's like, man, I just really want that planetary. And suddenly we have Marines coming in from the bottom left, bottom right. Units coming in from the top right. It is a Terran surrounding the Zerg. How often do you see that? A little bit of micro coming in as well. Awesome. Shame there's one Widowmine fight at the Overseer, otherwise it would have been even more satisfying. But a beautiful fight here by the BabyMarine, and that sends us to game 4. No 3-0s tonight, baby. Let's go back to Europe. Thank you, friendly uncle. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's kind of from it as well. Or like when basically when we used to cast Starcraft 2 in the early years, it was a lot about predicting, because people always wanted to theory craft. That was a lot of the casting in the early years, and it's like, oh, what do you think he's going to do? And you know that there was going to be a proxy, and it was like, oh, I think it's going to be Proxy Robo, because he always does Proxy Robo, and then bam, Stargate. And then people are like, ha, cast the curse. But then you can be like, oh, the last 7 times I've seen him on this map against this race, he always goes for a Stargate, so this must be a Proxy Stargate. Bam, Twilight Council. That used to be a bit of a thing, but obviously the game has changed, and I think casting has changed overall. That was a thing for a bit as well, D64. It was about, like, I think proving to the world that you were knowledgeable. So I think especially a couple of the guys in Korea, they did that a lot, where they, at any opportunity they would just call a game, GG, it's game over, it's game over. And it's like, what the hell, mate? He's down 7 supply. This is not game over. What are you talking about? But I'm glad that the community spoke up against that, and I think everybody kind of stopped doing that a little bit.
Round 4. Fight!
In the bottom right side of a side Delta, we are looking at the main base of our Italian Terran. What a great save on that planetary fortress, and what a fantastic way for Marines and Marauders to come in and wipe out that Zerg army. Can we truly turn this around and go full Romiti? This is BabyMarine. Vidra was also an absolute king of doing that at Home Story Cups. I remember I was casting a game with Vidra, Demu, and me. And I think like 4 Zerglings walked in and killed 4 probes and scouted attack. And we're like, oh, this is pretty bad for the probes, but maybe we can still do something. And then Vidra was like, I don't know. I think it's GG. Game over. And we look at him, it's like, is there really like no way? It's like, nah, it's GG. I'm like, what if we do XYZ? No, it's GG. I remember Ben losing it. It's like, damn it, Vidra, you're not very good at this, are you? Well, we need something to talk about, mate, for the upcoming minutes. And Vidra's like, oh, I mean, maybe barbecue. So some fun moments from the good old Home Story Cup days. Top left side, guys, he's still up to 1, but game 4 gets played on the European server. Now, he did win the first one on the European server. Can he win the second one? This is our Mexican veteran, Cham. For some reason, when I think of Cham, I always think back of that not E, how was it called? The tournament in Tour. The one that Showtime ended up winning, but I think Cham had a really good run. Made it into the quarterfinals. It was a really saturated tournament with a lot of top tier players of the regions of that respective time. And Cham just kind of came in as a massive underdog. All the Europeans, they didn't really take him all that serious, but Cham had a sick run back then. In a Tour. Not TT Tours, but just a different tour. Looping Louis was and is still good. If any of you guys is going to the upcoming edition of the Home Story Cup 26, there will be Looping Louis. They also have a modified version of Looping Louis with 8 players, but honestly, not my game. That one is a bit luck based. The 4-man Looping Louis is skill based. I think Special is like soft retired for now. I don't think Special's playing any Starcraft. I don't think he really wants to play any Starcraft. But if they release the plans for the upcoming year when it comes to the ESL Pro Tour or Esports World Cup, and there is stuff for the Latin American region or just the foreign scene overall, then I do think Special will play again. But I think for now he's kind of just playing poker. He's actually playing a lot of poker. He's talking a lot about it. And by the way he talks about it, I can tell you guys that he's not very good yet. But I do believe that Juanito is a very smart man, so I think it will come. And he's also going to the gym very often. Thank you to BK Rack for the 6 months. I believe that Juanito is in Mexico at the moment. I mean, there's a whole story to that, and I know a little bit of the backstory, but then you kind of starting to dig into people's personal life that has nothing to do with StarCraft, so I'm not going to share that. If Juanito ever shares that, that's up to him. But I believe that he's just happy in Mexico right now. Two Hellions and a Reaper Sniper creep 2 more. For the first time, by the way, BabyMarine is actually keeping his Reaper alive a little while longer. I would almost say that this bodes well. Triple CC Hellion Banshee setup. It is the most standard setup in the book. It makes a lot of sense, especially against a Zerg like Cham, who's a little bit different, who's a little bit crazy, and will hit you with attacks that a lot of the other Zergs that you normally face on the ladder or in European tournaments will never go for. Honestly, throughout history, a lot of Europeans have always analyzed Cham as everything he does is wrong, but he still does it so well that he's been able to get so many great tournament runs and a lot of solid victories. And theoretically, it may not be the best way to play Zerg, but Cham just does some things incredibly well. He's a man of extremes, and he's able to find damage when you really don't think a Zerg is ever supposed to find damage. Nice grenade there by BabyMarine as he drops it on the left side of the Queen. Cham a little bit slow to react. Happens to the best of us. We have to think back of that Oceanborn game, guys, where Cham basically went up to 60-something workers. I think it was 68 workers, or 66, or 4 Zerglings. 9 Queens and 4 Zerglings. This game he has made a few more links, but honestly not that many more. Instead of 4 links, we made 10 links. It's still pretty damn greedy what Cham is doing. Lair is done. Baneling Nest on the way. Gas count currently is 6, so it kind of screams Muda Ling Bane once more. 2 Banshees with Cloak are flying through the middle of all these bases. There are Spore Crawlers, so BabyMarine needs to be very careful. Finds his first drone. Finds the second one. Is there an Overseer yet? There is no Overseer. As the 6 Hellions and the Reaper are going to work on this base, the link count is pretty high right now. Is BabyMarine paying attention? He kind of is. But he could also be in trouble. So far, it's a pretty good Zergling surround, guys. I actually really like this for Cham. This is a tiny bit sloppy on the side of BabyMarine. That's the difference. He might be able to finally clean this up, but he's lost so many of his Hellions and his Reapers. And this is the difference, right, between the good Terrans and the very best Terrans out there. Because the best Terrans, they will move the Reapers and the Hellions away immediately as soon as the Zerglings reveal themselves. And then you get the first full volley off. The Lynx have to disengage. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Spire, 70% done though for Cham. It's a shame for BabyMarine. I think there was a lot more potential there, because Cham really does have a pretty greedy opening. By the way, Pi, my absolute favorite moderator out there, can you please snooze my ad so I don't have to alt tab? If not, I'm gonna bully you about building way too many roaches again for the next 5 minutes. Snooze! He's not doing it. Unbelievable. What a guy. Take away his badge. Let's rise up. BabyMarine has the 2 benches, by the way, and the top side of the map, and 16 Marines are going to stim forward on top of this 9 o'clock base, and it was so far along, but Cham does not save it, and he doesn't even cancel it. And now a couple of the Banelings are going to get sniped as well. BabyMarine is going full liquid clump on us as he's trying to gun down some mutas. Maybe he got a tiny bit carried away at the end. But sniping those Banes was awesome. Sniping the hatchery is even better. And we've got another little hit squad of Marines on the top side that Cham is not aware of. Now, does BabyMarine have enough units at home, though? I hope for BabyMarine that he does. This is honestly going to be a bit of a close fight. Missile turret not done yet, but tanks on the high ground will keep us safe. Marines battling the Queens, and the Queens are not transfusing each other, so there is a lot of damage being dealt on both sides. Now the medevacs are kind of flying over the spore crawl, and it's getting a little bit sloppy and hectic as BabyMarine is trying to deal with these mutas. Lost the tanks, but hey, who cares about losing the tanks? If you kill all the Queens and you kill a lot of the Zerglings. I like how we load everything up in one medevac that has 10 HP. This time a BabyMarine saves the 3rd base. BabyMarine is going to save maybe the tank as well. The tank will not get saved. He does unload the Marines in the main base. Cham still has a 21 work elite. I honestly think all of this went pretty good for BabyMarine, even though he does end up losing both of these medevacs in the end. It's a rough blow, but I still like it for the young Italian stallion. Losing all the tanks stings a little, but it's not really about the tanks. Tanks are nice. They'll give you a feeling of safety, but it really is not all about the tanks. I think overall that was slightly better for BabyMarine than it was for Cham. Sorry guys, I have to alt tab, otherwise you guys are gonna get ads in the middle of the game. And that would suck. Bye sucks. Silly roach user. Unbelievable. There's one Widow Mine hiding behind the supply depot, and it gets a good shot of immediately. There's a few of the Banelings are rolling around. Cham does not have a burrow. Would have been a great game to have burrow. Especially since BabyMarine is very Marine heavy at the moment. 57 Marines. BabyMarine just does not want to die early. A 24 worker elite, but we are looking at a lair tech Zerg. Two upgrades on the way for Bravas. A couple of Widow Mines lead the charge. Nice snipe so far by BabyMarine. That fight did not work out for Cham. Cham thought, I don't know, maybe he could bait BabyMarine into a big forward move and the Banelings would find great connections, but in the end he was just a bit indecisive. BabyMarine said, alright, thank you, I'll just get there with all my Marines and I'll start gunning down some Banes. That was a big loss on the side of Cham, guys, because right now the Baneling is really the only thing he really has that stands a chance in a straight up fight between these two armies. Cham knows that, so he's going to try to counterattack one last time. One Widow Mine is going to find a connection there with a Muta. That's a solid start for BabyMarine. He's going to have to bring a couple of Marines over. There are some Widow Mines hiding behind the refinery. Another 6 shot. As a Thor and Marines are leading the charge on the left. Cham is thinking about going through, but the Terran army is way too big. A wise man from Scotland once said that the Terran army is better than your army. And there is nothing you can do. Well, I think we're kind of looking at it. He was onto something. 21 Banes with 11 extra Banes on the way. On creep, sure. On creep, I think Cham has a very good shot. Off creep, he does not have a very good shot. Trying to buy some time with the Mutas as Hive is finishing up. BabyMarine is probably honestly loving life. He's taking this base out twice. He's got 2 sensor towers. We all know that 2 sensor towers are better than 1. He's got some missile turrets. We're gonna drop a Ghost Academy. Why are Ghost Academy so tanky, by the way, guys? What is the lore behind that? You know that the Zergs are stressing when they start firing up the accidental swarm host. Once foremost, can it make the difference against all these guys really gone? There's a lot of Widow Mines. Oh my god! What a Widow Mine shot there. Cham with no regard for meters at all. Cham, what is this fight? This definitely was a fight in the history of fights of StarCraft 2. But I can tell you guys that this is not a Z fight for Cham. As he ate some absolute monstrous Widow Mine face to the hits. Great save there on the Thor in the end by BabyMarine. Picks it up, drops it, picks it up again. Incredibly well done by the tiny Italian stallion. And Cham has now lost 7,000 resources more. He just walked through those mines like they weren't there. That is one way of dealing with them. Hello, Coco. Coco, are you coming to the next home, Surica? Or are you too big for us now, Coco? Is the queen too busy? Is it only Greece with the boys? What about a home story cup, Coco? Say hello to your fans out there. Maybe? Alright. I'll take a maybe. Widow Mine! Widow Mine! Will Coco choose Hawaii in a 5-star resort, or will she come to Krefeld? It's starting to look like we are getting another game 5. Honestly, this may very well be my finest night of matchmaking yet. We've been here before, guys. It has happened before in 69 weeks, but it's quite rare. But Cham is just getting blasted. Everywhere I look, the Zerg units are getting blasted. And it's not like something is about to come online for Cham that I really think this game is going to look different. We have Ultras. Ultras are kind of cool. Do they have kindness splitting yet? No, we're fighting right before kindness. It will finish up during this fight though. But BabyMarine is already rich. He's gonna get some ghost out. Should probably start spending his money though, guys. 1800 minerals, 500 gas, pushing it a little. It's okay, we lost some Marines and Marauders, we're getting a few ghosts out. Coco, do you vote in the US by mail? I love it, mate. That is what we absolutely need to get to the bottom of. On a Friday night, is Coco getting her vote in? And if so, Coco, who do you vote for? Someone is going to be upset. One way or the other. It doesn't matter. Coco, we need to get to the bottom of this. Do you send in your vote? And who is it? Thank the Lord we're diving into Coco's political preference. Couple snipies landing on an ultra as there is a triple drop by BabyMarine on the top right side, but Cham is chasing it down. Big engagement by Cham. The Lynx mains ultras are going to roll into a couple of the bio units. Maybe, I mean, since BabyMarine's not spending his money, this is actually going pretty well for Cham. Preba, you have units everywhere. Look, can you start fighting with them? Also, why are we not using any personal cloaking? I guess we just didn't have it yet. And these ghosts, they could have cloaked a while ago. They did not cloak. And BabyMarine loses a base. I'm still not too worried for BabyMarine, as he's sitting on a ridiculous amount of money. If he starts spending it, I think he's going to be okay. But he's going to have to clean it up a little bit. Marines are going to snipe the hatch in the center, and obviously base for a base is a great trade for the Terran in this phase in the game. Since the orbitals can start flying over, we can start spamming some mules. Cham is in a little bit of trouble. He does have a good army. He's got a way better army than he had a while ago. Kudos to Cham for really turning this into a game where at least there is potential. I don't think this really was supposed to go on for as long as it's currently going on, and at this point Cham's got more than a shot. He's got way more reasons to believe right now than he had 5 minutes ago. But I still think we have to be fair and honest as well, that BabyMarine has way more potential in his army, and he should be able to close this out. He's got a stronger, more superior economy, and this has better tools to work with overall. Widow Mine, decent connection. Ghosts will have personal cloaking next fight, so that should make it a bit more doable for Brabant to keep them alive. This is such an awkward place to fight. I can't believe that Cham is pulling the trigger and says, this is it, we're doing this. Outside of all the places, this is absolutely not the place to go for. But Cham is crazy, he's wild, he's loco. He's always been a fan of crazy fights. And honestly, he's not even doing all that bad. He's actually taking out most of the bio units. He will not get those goals that were tucked away in the corner. It wasn't cheap. That went about, I think, as good as it ever could have gone. Cham is so wild, man. Gets a few SCVs, puts some barracks or two on fire. It's a shame he couldn't kill the sensor tower. BabyMarine did spend a lot of his ghost energy there too. Ghost energy is not something we talk about very often. Did he get all the medevacs with the Corruptors? Yes, he did. Oh, it's a great fight in the end by Cham. Felt like a nightmare spot to fight in, but Cham just makes it work. These Mexican Ultras are built different, baby. We have concussive shells. Okay, earlier I wasn't that worried for BabyMarine yet. I'm starting to get a little bit worried. He does have 11 Widow Mines. That is 10 more than I think you would need to feel very safe, in the words of Rainer. So 11 mines should be able to buy some time, and then hopefully he can start rebuilding his medevac count and his liberator count. This game is starting to look a little bit dicey. By the way, guys, in 2.5 minutes there will be ads. There's nothing I can do. I have snoozed them 3 times. I am all out of snoozes. Twitch gives you 3 emergency breaks, and I have used all 3 of them. Now, hopefully this game will go on for another half an hour, and nobody will notice, but yeah. We've paused them once, we've paused them twice, we've paused them 3 times. And now in 2 minutes, I'm all out of luck. But perhaps we'll already be entering game 5 in 2 minutes. Or perhaps this game will go on for another 25. It's very hard to say right now. What we can say is that the Cham is working his way through this command set that does not want to see the double planetary fortress set up. One goal, so BabyMarine is very brave. Oh, BabyMarine is going to snipe some Corruptors. Does not want to find himself in that position where he loses 8 medevacs in the fight again. Ghost. BabyMarine, no. That is not what Liquid Clam would be proud of. 2 ghosts run straight into their death. It does have a solid hold over here on the left. There is a fungal landing on bio units, but I know Zergs get angry when I hype up fungals. It's that command set that gets blown up, by the way, so that's 400 minnows down the drain. These ghosts are being chased very deep by them Ultras. And Cham and BabyMarine are producing a pretty epic little match over here. And it's so hard to keep track of who's actually winning, who's looking great. It should have looked great for the Terran for so long. But BabyMarine is having a very difficult time just really finding his sweet spot. And he's losing too many ghosts. Too many ghosts are randomly walking into their death. As we look at a few more ghosts. Maybe randomly walking into their death. I don't think this game should end anytime soon, but it very well could. Only a 6 army supply lead at this point. There's a couple of Widow Mines fire and another planetary fortress gets blown up. Cham is looking for, I don't know, more ghosts. And everywhere I look, he is actually starting to find ghosts. BabyMarine is having such a hard time keeping his army safe. He gets fungled, lost the medevacs, and just like that, after 21 minutes, guys, it is Cham. Cham who has successfully killed a grand total of 25 ghosts in 21 minutes. In a game where a lot of things went wrong, but Cham really just started to channel some Mexican Zerg magic. Great run-bys, great multitasking, and BabyMarine just had a hard time catching up and keeping up. We can say that this was a game where BabyMarine was always behind and he was always in trouble and it was hard for him to make something out of it. Like, no. This was a perfectly fine setup for him. The world was his oyster. He could have honestly played it out in many different ways. But yeah, Cham too good. Congrats to the veteran for getting a 3-1 victory over the Italian youngster. So not a night where we have nothing but 3-2s. 3-2, a 3-2, a 3-1 as we get ready for a very spicy main event. It is Max Pax versus Lambo. Max Pax versus Lambo. It's scary. It's big. I'm excited. Thank you to Capasco for the 18 months. Thank you to Basilisk as well for gifting us 10 more subbies. We'll settle this prediction and we'll start the next prediction immediately. 70% of you guys believed that the veteran was going to do it. That it's not all about those youngsters in Starcraft 2. that age is just a number. And even when you get a bit older, you can still get the best of the tiny zoomers. And that is what happened here. Cham, 3. BabyMarine 1. Final score. Main event. And this is going to be spicy. MaxPax versus Lambo, best of 5. Lambo, one of the best pocket players in Europe. I believe that his pocket guide is popping up on YouTube, and thousands of people are learning from the Zerg mastermind right now in the world of Deadlock, which I think is awesome, and I find that very exciting. But he's also still one of the best Zerg players out there. And it's a best of 5. Lambo is a German Z. Obviously, these guys are, I don't know, 6.7k or higher. Does the MMR really matter between these two? I don't think so. It is the main event of the Big Brain Bouts number 69. And now what you guys would say. Is this nice? Yes, it is very nice. I'll give you guys 15 minutes to get your predictions in. I'm going to go ahead and take a tiny break. Rainer is 22, so BabyMarine is 19. There's a 3-year difference between the two. I don't know how old Cham is. How old is our Mexican Zerg? I'm happy for Cham, though. Cham's always such a nice guy. And he's been around for a while, and he does his best. I think it's very difficult to participate in all the events while living in Mexico. Sometimes time zones are bad. Ping can be bad, but very cool to see that. Cham still got it. He walks away with 100 buckies in this edition of the Big Brain Bouts. Yeah, Rainer is 22 and Clem is 22. Actually, Cham is only 27. That's pretty young. He's been around for a while, man. Now, this really surprises me. I thought Cham was a bit older. Maybe I'm just really old. So I just automatically assume that anybody that I've seen for a while is also really old. But 27 is really not that old. Thank you to Yakta for the 99 months. Oh, 1 month away from the magical 100. Alright guys, it is Lambo, it is MaxPax, it is a best of 5 for the ages. I'm very excited for it. I'm gonna go ahead and take a little break, and after that I'll be back. See you guys soon. Big series, main event number 69. Amazing. Sending prayers like